Hello, welcome to today's Facecast. It is spring. Are you a gardener? Have you been out there getting the garden ready? I'm looking out there, the grass needs cutting and a good bit of weeding needs doing. I better get out and do some of it soon. I wonder if you are a gardener and you really like tending to your garden. I wonder if you have fruit trees in your garden. I have an apple tree. It produces apples that are about that big and not very tasty, but it's an apple tree. You may be somebody who is proficient at producing fruit and vegetable in your garden. If so, I admire you greatly. I have a go, but it's not particularly good. Anyway, you'll know the principles of gardening. You'll know how important it is and how much we rely on the massive kinds of gardening that arable farming is all about. In the time of Jesus, the people he was speaking to knew all about gardening and growing things because they were a farming community. And so Jesus quite often spoke to people using farming terminology. And he said this to them at one stage. He was talking about his relationship with them, but look how he cleverly uses things, expressions that they would relate to because of their own working background. He said in one point, "Remain in me, and I will remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me." It's quite simple, isn't it? Quite straightforward. If there's a vine growing which might produce grapes, which produces wine, that branch must be attached to the vine. Otherwise, it won't produce the fruit. We must be attached to Jesus. Otherwise, we won't produce his fruit in our lives, the fruit of joy and love and compassion and kindness and so on. How do we remain in Jesus and he in us? By reading his word to us, by offering our prayers, by talking to him in prayer, by having fellowship one with another, by worshipping God in the things that we do, not just in songs of worship, but then in the acts of worship each and every day. Are you doing those things? A bit more difficult during lockdown to do all those things. That's why we have to work that little bit harder at it. It's why we have facecasts and online worship, so that we can pick up on and continue those things. Remain in me, he says, and we must remain rooted in him. Otherwise, we will drift away. History and scripture is full of stories about people who have been close to God, but who drift away, just like the prodigal son who then comes back, returning. We need to remain in him in order to absorb everything that he is, just like a branch in a tree will absorb everything from the trunk as it grows. So when it comes to our relationship with God, being clingy is a good thing. Cling on, hold on to, immerse yourself in, stay with, stick with it. All those things which we ought to be doing, we should be doing, are there spelt out for us. And we need to continue that, to continue this life of faith, which is trusting without fully knowing. That's how we grow, that's how we develop, that's how we are nurtured by him, by remaining in him, in contact with him, and being fed by him. Have a good day. See you soon.